All right, so I am here. I'm going to talk to you about software licensing and what DISA is doing for the department in order to utilize the current investment in software in creating joint enterprise license agreements. Next slide. So here's kind of an overview of what we do. Our program started in 2012 with Adobe software, and it migrated over to Microsoft and then over into Cisco. And we're continuously improving and getting better. So what our agreements offer is streamlined program management, cost savings, as well as consolidated solutions. And what we mean by consolidated solutions is, as you all are aware, the department does many things with the same type of software. We're able to come together and create those agreements so that everyone can kind of be on the same page and utilize the software a little bit better. So that's where we use you as industry to come in and kind of help us determine that. And yes, we do. And help us identify where we can kind of streamline some of those processes and make it and optimize how we do business today. So some of the features that we get out of the JELA, such as cost savings, and as you notice, we have a huge number up there, cost savings, which is attributed to discounts that we get for our agreements. It also comes with value-added benefits, so sometimes we get consulting services, training, and different things like that related to it. Our current JELAs have a life cycle value of $1 billion, and then we also offer streamlined acquisition process when it comes to purchasing. So instead of you having to go out and spend a lot of time in doing all that acquisition documentation, all that's required in order to participate in the JELAs is basically your funding, your cost estimate, and your quotes. So it streamlines the acquisition process for the department. It streamlines it for the industry because now they're managing one larger contract versus many contracts in the department. Next slide. So I'm going to give you some highlights into some of the agreements we have. We have the Cisco Software EA, and what this agreement is, the scope is Fourth Estate and the COCOMs. It also includes DISA, who does service providing for their MilDep partners. So if DISA provides a service, they will be able to buy on behalf of. So this agreement includes GEMS, which is SmartNet support. It includes the software that comes with it and consulting engineers. It also includes some of their software subscription products related to email security, voice and conferencing, and different other items. And then advanced services, some are specific to technology, such as implementation, deployment, sustainment, but then they also can make it specific. So this agreement has a lifecycle value of $744 million. It is active until 2027, and it is open to our Fourth Estate partners. Next slide. Some of the benefits that we get out here, we wanted to kind of highlight. So I mentioned how we get cost discounts. So if you notice on the slide, we get 100% cost avoidance when it comes to a limited DNA advantage. And of course, this is technology that, software companies want to introduce into the government, right? So some of the things that they'll offer is some of the new technology that they have coming in or upgrade what you're currently using. So this was an offering that we received as part of this agreement. We also get dedicated engineering support at no additional cost, and we get access to learning credits, training, webinars, and different things like that. Our average discount for this agreement is between 38 and 72%, and that's off of list price. Next slide. Our next agreement is the Adobe JELA. And so under the Adobe JELA, this is open to all of Fourth Estate. All of DoD. So our MilDep partners participate as well as our Fourth Estate partners participate. We have majority of those participants on this agreement. This has a life cycle value of $179 million. It does end this year, but we are working on a recompete for it for the next 3.5 years. This one we get a huge discount. So we have an enterprise bundle, which a lot of our agreements have. So our enterprise bundle is Acrobat Pro and AEM Forms. And we get a large discount such as 95% off of Acrobat Pro and 100% off of our AEM Forms. We also get unlimited access to the consumption of AEM Forms. So this was a really good deal for the department. It helped us kind of streamline how we do business when it comes to Acrobat and how we're using it. And then our overall average price discount for those non-enterprise products is about 47%. So those are your Creative Cloud, your Code Fusion, some of managed services, different things like that that we have on this contract. Some of the value adds that we get on this contract is our consulting hours. So Adobe and or their partners will work with you guys one-on-one to develop anything you need, such as your AEM forms. If you're developing a form, you can go to them, get support on how to do that, and they'll kind of walk you through that process. And that's an unlimited consumption of those items. And then they also offer many webinars that teaches you how to use Acrobat Pro, how to use any of your Photoshop, anything that you're doing in support of the department for this. Next slide. And then we have the Microsoft delivery order. Now the Microsoft delivery order is not a JELA. It used to be a JELA, but Navy now manages that agreement, which is a DoD ESA. But we did add on here because it still works in the same manner, where for DISA and the department actually, you get access to Microsoft licensing at a discounted rate, and it comes with value adds such as Microsoft certifications, classes, the latest access to the versions without cost. And for this contract, we do have a lifecycle value of $86 million for 3 years, and it lasts until 2026. Next slide. So all of that interesting data, right? So how do you become a JELA? So for our industry partners, some of the things that we look for is, are you prevalent across the department? We're not saying every single piece of the department has to, implement your product, but we want to make sure that it's prevalent across the department and there is a feature requirement for it. We do look at spend, right? So we're looking at $100 million for a 3 to 5 year life cycle. Now that's not etched in stone. So if it's not $100 million, that doesn't mean that it stops. We also look at the strategic value for it too. So if there is value across the department to create an agreement that's going to work for the department, such as one enterprise license. It may not be at a $100 million value, but it's something that works best for the department and sharing data. We do look at it from that perspective as well. And then for those who are internal to the government, you too can come to us as well and make a recommendation to say, hey, we think that this would be a good opportunity to have that JELA. And we will reach out to the vendors. We will have that conversation. It does go through a governance process because we want to make sure that, all departments are on board with having this type of agreement. We don't create it in a vacuum. We do include our partners to make sure that we're all on the same page. All right, next slide. Are there any questions? If you have questions, you can stand to the back at the mic or yell them out. All right, well, thank you. Next slide. If you guys have any questions, you're welcome to contact us. You can find us, if you have CAC, you can find us on SharePoint. Or open to the public. That site takes you to our fact sheet, but it also provides, or you can send us an email address. The QR code goes to our DISA site as well.